Welcome to another System.io lesson.
In this System.io lesson, I'm going to take you through how to edit your page from mobile view, what you need to change on your funnel so it looks good on mobile phone devices. Open up your funnel and go into a page you want to edit. You'll see your page normally what people would see on a computer or a tablet. Down the bottom here, you've got a mobile phone icon. If you click that, you're going to see a preview of what your page will look like on a mobile phone device. It is the best guess, and we will need to double check this on an actual phone at the end to make sure we don't need any further tweaks, but this is a good estimate so you can start modifying things. You'll see straight away that my text is quite large and it's also all bunched up with no spacing in between. That's generally how these things look. You really only need to add some padding or spacing around most things on the page, and it's going to look pretty good on a mobile phone without too much effort. So the first thing we'll do is click on the top one. We'll work our way down. You'll notice these little icons have appeared next to all the different options. So if I go back to desktop, see there's no mobile phones. That tells me that we're editing the desktop version. If I tap the mobile phone, I've now got these phone icons, which means this is going to be different on mobile phones. If it doesn't have a phone, it means it's going to affect both. It's going to affect the desktop and the mobile version if I change this. But all these ones, they are only changing the mobile version. So straight away, I'm going to drop that font down. This is that top one, to something that fits nicer in the box. It's got lots of space around it, easy to read. My logo here, we're going to scroll down to margin, tap this box, and it's going to allow you to only add margin to the bottom. So you can increase that usually to around 20, and that's going to create a nice big gap there and look much nicer to the eye. My main heading here, I can also drop that down a few sizes and it brings it back to 3 lines, which the human eye likes to read kind of 3 lines long. If you start going to 4 or 5 lines, then you probably should shorten what's written in the title and it could become more of a paragraph. This one we can tap on either the whole box, or if you're having trouble selecting it, you can click this wheel. Either or will bring up this sidebar with all your options. So that's looking pretty good font size, but I do need a margin in it. Same thing, I'm going to go to the bottom and make it 20. This text, I'm happy with the size of that. So again, I'm just going to add a margin bottom of 20, spacing that out. It's looking better already. And the button, same thing. It's my favorite size, 20 between everything. And it just looks really neat to the eye. Moving down to the image. Although it's nice and clear, I think it's a little bit big for a mobile phone, because if you kind of view the phone overall, we don't need the image humongous. So I'm going to drag that down. Again, it's only affecting the mobile phone version. It's a little bit smaller. And that kind of just brings up the title on the next section closer so people can start reading that. Moving down the page, these are looking pretty good. There's a really cool feature that I love, which allows you to swap the columns around so this image can come first before the text. We jump in here, you'll see I've got text on the left and an image on the right for my desktop version. But when I go to mobile, you don't see the image till further down the page, but I'd like to swap that around. So what you need to do is find the row, click that. That goes around everything. And over here on the left, scroll on down, reverse row columns on mobile devices, tick that. And now my picture's on top, which sometimes can be what you want as you're reading down the page. That looks much cooler. You may need to add some margin at the bottom, which is fine. Good old 20, looking good. And that's again only going to affect the mobile version. It's still normal on desktop. It's making 2 different little files to tell it how to display. Scroll on down the page and check all your text. I find this text looks a little bit too gappy. I think it's the line height. I'm just going to play with that, bring that down to maybe 21. And that looks a little bit neater to my eye. This is really an individual thing. It depends on your template. It depends on the font that you've chosen. Have a good look at it and make any changes as you see things that look a little odd. Overall, that looks really good on the mobile version now. I can hit save. And that's all you need to do for mobile view. And swap back, make sure nothing went funky. But in my experience, it's really good at just picking up only changing the mobile version if you pay attention to those little icons when you're making your changes. One last thing I want to show you in the mobile view, if we go back in, you can actually hide a whole section on a mobile phone device. Say I don't want this heading to come up on mobile phones, I think it's not necessary. I can actually untick mobile and it will disappear. and will not show up on mobile phones, but it will still be available on the desktop version if I view the full page. And now it'll actually show up here red, desktop only, and that way the page just loads a little bit different. You can do that with anything on the page. If you feel the page is too long for a mobile phone, you can just grab a section, go to mobile view, say no thank you, and it's gone. And the rest of the page around it will continue to show. And it will let you know what you've done. You can always double check because of this big red outline comes up. Pretty cool feature if you have some things that just aren't going to look good on a mobile phone or not necessary on a super long page. I hope this lesson's been useful and you can make your funnels look great on every different device using these simple little tweaks of margins, padding, and line heights. I'll see you in the next video.